Hello viewers, this is Wolf here with some more Monster Hunter collectible content, and today we're going to be taking a look at the first ever Monster Hunter Rise Stained Mascot Collection Keychain pack here. So, there's not going to be anything too special about this pack, since this is just all of the weapon icons. This was actually something that I've been wanting to get from the Iceborne pack, just because I like the coloration a bit better. My favorite weapon is dual blades, and my favorite color is red. So in the Iceborne version, or in Monster Hunter World, they actually had the dual blades as the red color. In Rise, they have it as green, but, you know, it's whatever. It's not a big deal. The backgrounds are a lot different on these, as you can see, and we're going to take a look at these icons and see what they look like. So, I guess we'll just open these up and then take a look at them. So, there's this box is going to contain 14 icons for the 14 different weapon types. So, it's definitely going to be a bit of a sizable one here, but I guess we'll start from the left side and then go from there. So, let's see what we get here first. So the first one we get is Gunlance. So I'm actually liking the way that they did these keychains now. I'm hoping that the rest of the Monster Hunter Rise themed keychains are like these. These aren't metallic like the other ones are. These are actually plastic, which is actually kind of interesting. So they're plastic and they're completely clear, or at the very least translucent. So this is kind of interesting here. So it kind of looks a little bit more like a stained glass painting, which is kind of cool, like that. We have the little icon for Monster Hunter Rise in the background there for the Gunlance. So, pretty cool. And I also like this too, how we have this for the keychain clip part there. That's definitely very different from how they did it before, so that's pretty cool. So let's take a look at the next one here. The one thing that I really like about I'm gonna like about the Monster Hunter Rise icons is that the monster icons, they're actually done in that Japanese paintbrush art, which actually looks really cool, so I can't wait to get my hands on those. So the second one we got here is Longsword. Alright, so just taking a look at the Longsword one. It's looking pretty cool. I like how the icon for Monster Hunter Rise is a bit more visible in the back here, and I like the color combination between the blue and the black borders here. So, it's looking pretty nice. Not too bad. So, I guess we'll jump on to the next one. Yeah, I do think it's really interesting how they decided to make these plastic. They went with a completely different approach for these icons than they did before. So the next one here is the bow. Alright, so we have the bow here. Looking pretty interesting. Has a decent green here. Of course, I kind of like how that blends with the Monster Hunter Rise icon in the background as well. So it looks really nice. So there's that. So on to the next one. We're going to be taking a look at... We got a hammer. So the hammer is just going to be a plain gray, as you can see here. So just a bit of a plain gray here. Nothing too special. But yeah, that's pretty cool. The one thing I am definitely going to miss, though, if this is actually a trend for the Monster Hunter Rise ones, is I'm going to miss that translucent design that they did with the old ones, because I do really like how some of those icons can actually illuminate in light. You're not really gonna get that same effect with these plastic icons at all, which is unfortunate if that is to be the case. But anyways, the next one we have here is Hunting Horn. So of course, pretty much just sharing a color with bow here. So we have this deep green, of course, with the icon in the background. I don't know why the camera's not focusing, but there we go. So, decent enough green there. The icon, you can still see the icon in the back, which is pretty interesting, so that's cool. You can put that there. Still got quite a few more to go. There are a lot of weapons. So, on to the next one. Of course, we got my favorite weapon type. We got the dual blades. And there's a lot of green in this. I didn't even realize this at first. But yeah, a lot of these weapons are sharing the same color. I wonder if it's going to be like that in game. So yeah, here are the dual blades. Of course, using the same green as both the bow and the hunting horn. I do kind of like this, how since the dual blades are spaced out, you actually see the icon right in between them. I think that looks pretty cool. I would have preferred if these were red, but you know, what can you do? That is the color combination that they're going with for Rise. So there it is. So on to the next one. Alright, so we got Insect Glaive. Now this one's actually pretty cool. So, just taking a look at the Insect Glaive here. I do like this red coloration right here, as well as the red icon in the background. It looks pretty nice. Of course, just the way that it blends with the black borders as well looks really good as well, too. This is like the first red one so far, so that's pretty cool. So, on to the next one here. So, we got Charge Blade. Interesting, this is pretty cool. I also really like Charge Blade as well. This is probably like the third weapon that I use. So I guess having this in a different color is nice. It seems to be more of like an orange than it is red, actually. Just comparing it to the Insect Glaive. So this is pretty cool. I do kind of like, this is kind of a weird thing, but I do like how the icon looks here in the background, just because of those spikes on the edges. It kind of gives it kind of almost like a chainsaw feel to the Charge Blade in a weird way. So I think that actually looks pretty cool. So that's Charge Blade. Yeah, that's definitely a bit of a different color than what they have on the Insect Glaive, which is kind of cool. Unlike the other three weapons that kind of share the same exact shade of color. So, next one here, we have Switch Axe. Alright, so Switch Axe, kind of sharing a color with the Gun Lance. This doesn't really seem to be much of a different shade. Seems to be more or less the same, just a bright yellow. Of course, the yellow icon in the background here, looking good with the black border as well. Black and yellow is a very nice color combination. So, that is a nice addition there. So, on to the next one. So now we're on to Sword and Shield. So, much like the Gun Lance and the Switch Axe, this is also sharing the same color. Doesn't seem to be much of a different shade either, so this is going to follow in suit with the dual blades, hunting horn, and bow. So, just taking a look at this. Again, much like the dual blades, I do kind of like that, because it's two weapons and they're spaced out a bit, I do like that you can see the icon in the background a little bit more, especially with this kind of, like, almost being a bit centralized in between the two, which is kind of cool. So, not too bad. So we're down to our last four. So let's see what we get. Alright, we got Lance. So we got another blue one to add to the collection here with Longsword. So just taking a look at Lance. This is looking really nice. Of course, I like the blue Rise icon in the background, the shield looking really nice, and the lance there. Like how the icon still is fairly prominent there in the background, which is pretty cool. So we get another to add to the blue collection here. So now we're down to the last three. Alright. So now we're on to Bowgun. I don't exactly remember if this is heavy bowgun or light bowgun. I don't really look at those icons too often. So this is one of the bowguns. So this is kind of interesting. This is kind of similar to the insect glaive color, actually. So definitely has a bit more of like a pinkish color to it, which is kind of interesting here. So there we got Bowgun. Again, I don't remember which Bowgun that is. It's one of the two. But on to the next one. Here's the other Bowgun. I'm assuming that this is light Bowgun and this is heavy Bowgun. I feel kind of embarrassed that I don't know that, but I don't really pay attention to Bowguns too often, so I don't really remember their icons all that much. I think this might be light Bowgun though. And I do like how this one is blue. Again, looking really nice. Just the way that the blue Rise icon in the background sticks out from this, kind of giving it those jagged edges on the corners, which is actually kind of cool. So now we're on to the last icon. So let's take a look at this. And we got Greatsword. Alright. So, Greatsword, kind of sporting a nice orange color here, very similar to the Charge Blade. Again, the icon in the background kind of sticking out a bit, which is kind of cool. I like the way that the orange kind of meshes with the black border here as well. Also, the one thing that I noticed with all of these icons is that with their coloration, there's a bit of like a hazy section on the translucent parts here. It does kind of carry a bit of that color through it, which is kind of cool. So it does have a kind of like a clear, or like a very, very faded orange color on the, just before it touches the black borders, which is actually kind of cool. So this is essentially everything that comes in the first Monster Hunter Rise icon pack. The icon pack pretty much highlighting all of the weapon types, which is pretty cool. Nothing too exciting when it comes to looking at monster icons. Like, of course, once the first Monster Hunter Rise monster pack releases, that one's going to look really cool because I love the artwork on them. I'm really interested to see how those stack up next to the old Monster Hunter Iceborne icons. And the other thing I want to see is if they're metallic or if they're going to continue with this plastic, because I really want to see those translucent bits continue with that that paintbrush style artwork. I think that would be a nice little blend of art styles there. I think that would look really cool. But yeah, this is essentially the unboxing here. There's not really too much to really say. They're pretty much just all the weapons. If I really had to pick a favorite, like, I think definitely Longsword, I'd say Insect Glaive, and Dual Blades. These are essentially the three. These are like my top three weapons that I like using in the game. Of course, Dual Blades being my main weapon. I also do like using Charge Blade a lot as well. But yeah, those are probably my favorite out of this pack just because of the color combination. I really like the blues and the way that the Longsword looks. This kind of shade of red on the Insect Glaive looks nice. And I kind of just like this just because it's Dual Blades. But yeah, that's pretty much the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys found it informative. There's definitely going to be a lot more Monster Hunter collectible content coming in the future, especially once the next Monster Hunter Rise pack releases. So I hope you guys stay tuned for that. But until then, I hope you guys stay safe. I hope you guys have a good night or good day depending on where you are. And I will see you all later.